and a quarter of a cup of all-purpose flour. Don't forget the salt, quarter of a teaspoon of salt, because we're using unsalted butter, and salt brings out the delicious flavors. Grind this up a little bit, pulse a little bit, get some ground up well. Okay, and then add your butter. 6 tablespoons of chilled butter cut into like 1/4-inch pieces. And again, do the pulsing thing. You just want crumbly. That looks good. And then this can be put on a baking sheet lined with parchment. Make sure your oven's preheated to 350 degrees. Just spread it around. Put that in the oven 10 minutes. In a small bowl, we're going to melt 3 ounces of milk chocolate. We're just creating a little double boiler here. If you have a double boiler, of course you can use it. The steam from the boiling water will heat the bowl and melt the chocolate. So our crumb mixture has been in the oven for 10 minutes. Just break it up a little bit to make sure that it really is drying out. And let it stay in for another 10 minutes or so. So our crumb mixture is done. We're going to put it in a bowl so we can mix the crumbs with the chocolate. We're making a mixture kind of like lemon water. And then pour the chocolate right into the crumbs. So you're going to have sort of a chocolatey graham cracker crust. And this is now going to be put into the bottom of each of the molds. And you can use a 1/4 cup ice cream scoop to measure out. And this makes 8 samosas. These are 3-inch rings. And to make sure that this really does become a crust, use a jar that fits inside and press. Transfer these to a refrigerator until they're nice and set. So in another heat-proof bowl, melt 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate and 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and just get that nice and melted. We have some egg whites that I'm beating up into a froth, 4 egg whites, and just a little pinch of salt. The chocolate mixture, after we add 4 egg yolks and some gelatin, will be folded into the egg whites. And we also have 1/2 cup of heavy cream, lightly beaten. Our chocolate is beautifully melted. You can stir the softened gelatin right into the chocolate. 1 teaspoon of gelatin that's been softened with 1 tablespoon of cool water. Seems to be good. And then we're going to add the egg yolks. Whisk the egg yolks right into the chocolate. And now we can add our egg whites. Lightly mix the chocolate mixture a little bit with a little bit of the egg whites. And you can now get your crusts out of the refrigerator, because we're going to put this mousse right into the molds on top of the crusts. Last thing to fold in is the softly whipped cream. The cream just adds another element of richness and taste to the mousse itself. And maybe if you weren't watching, I'd lick the spatula. So each mold will take about 6 tablespoons. Now these have to go right into the refrigerator and chill until set. That's going to take at least 2 hours. So we're making a Swiss meringue topping for our samosas. And Swiss meringue requires you to heat the egg whites with the sugar until you cannot feel any grains of sugar in the mixture. Beat these to a beautiful frothy cloud. You can add a teaspoon of vanilla. This is 3 egg whites, 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And we will also add 1 teaspoon of cornstarch after the peaks form. To have better control over the meringue, I'm going to put the meringue into a piping bag fitted with a 1/2-inch round tip. Now it's gotten nice and thick. I'm just going to add the cornstarch, give it a little bit more body. I think we have the meringue we want. We don't want any air pockets visible when we remove the rings, because we want this to be sort of a stacked dessert. So now with your offset spatula, just level off the meringue. Chill for at least an hour. So now we're at the point of unmolding our samosas. It's a simple way to do this. Have an overturned jar or glass that is smaller than the ring, and very gently just push like that to pull off the ring. So cute. Just before serving, using a kitchen torch, brown the tops of the meringues and serve immediately. These are guaranteed to please a crowd for young and old alike at your next party.